Today we are headed out to the garden to collect butternut squash, and we're going to collect some seeds, and then we're picking a bunch of basil and we're making pesto. Hey everybody, welcome to our bubble. My name is Katie, and today we're only in the garden for just a wee bit. I've got a few butternut squash that I need to pick. There's one over my shoulder, actually two. And then I'm going to collect some seed that I've been wanting to collect, and the most important thing is we are picking basil today to make pesto with. So I'm super excited. Pesto is one of my favorites. I have to say, out of the entire garden, if the basil didn't do well, I would have a problem. I dry it, I make a lot of pesto and freeze it. We use pesto by itself. I also make a creamy pesto, and it's just a huge staple in our home. I love to give it away to people. So that's our main concern is the basil today. But for right now, I'm going to go on and pick a few of these butternut squash that I have hanging up because they are ready to go. The biggest thing with our butternut squash that we want to pay attention to is the bottom, which we want it to look fairly dried and kind of brown. And then we want our squash to be this nice khaki color, just a light brown. We don't want it to be kind of yellowy green. So the top has some green stripes, but that's okay because we're actually going to let these sit and cure for a while. We're not going to eat one immediately. Well, that was tougher than I expected. Oh! Not too bad. So this one looks great. It's definitely ready. Goodness, that takes some hand strength right there, boys. I wanted to show you guys, this is the prettiest marigold in my garden. The marigolds did really well this year above everything else, and my husband was like, of course they did, we don't eat those. But I thought you all, I'm very proud of this one. It's just gorgeous. Now we are going to collect some seed, which these are radish seeds. I'm going to try and open this up. That pod had 3 seeds in it. So all of these seed pods came off of one plant, off of one little radish. I got all of this. It's just hard to believe. You would think radishes would be kind of invasive, but they're not. So I'm grabbing the pods, ones that have not previously busted open. So see, like this one has busted open. Let's see if I can get closer. And most likely there are no seeds in this pod. There are not. So they may have been eaten by mice. They may have seeded themselves. Usually the radishes do kind of seed themselves. If you're going to plant radishes, in Central Kentucky Zone 6B, now is the time that you would need to do it to get a fall crop. Next week, it's only supposed to be in the 70s, and I think our humidity is supposed to be down. We are around 78 so far today. It's about 1 in the afternoon. It's gotten pretty humid today. We're at around 77% humidity here. So now what I'll do is I just leave them in the baggie and crush it up. That way I have seed that's ready to go for next year. It's already dried. It's already ready to go. Mother Nature did everything for me. And actually I will probably end up with radishes in that spot from all the ones that the seed pods went on and opened up so that it could seed itself. Now I'm going to collect some marigold seeds. These are an unusual marigold I showed earlier in the season. I have already collected some of these seeds. These are very unusual. So marigold seeds were like a multi-pack. Wasn't for sure what to call it. So it reminded me of a teddy bear sunflower. So I called it a teddy bear marigold. But we have other colors. Those are gorgeous. I love this one. Oh, how wonderful. We got a friend. Just lovely. And then there are some red ones. And we have some others of the large orange one. I cannot collect these seed yet. None of them have actually gone to seed. They seem to be kind of a late bloomer. These have just started opening up, so I'm going to keep an eye on them to collect their seed. But love the bright red ones. Now what we're going to do to collect the seed, you can put just the whole head in your bag if you want, or you can do that. And there's all of your seed. So that was a kind of yellowy orange looking one. I think we're going to do a mixture here. This one is a red one. And I'm going on and collecting now. Last year I did it deeper into the fall, which is fine. It was one of the last things I did, but I wasn't for sure what seed I was picking. So I just threw them all in a bag, and that's why we have randomness. So let's see. Ooh, these are very yellow, so I'm going to take some of them. I have been coming out pretty much every day and I'm picking the blooms off the top of the basil. So I have to be careful. There's honeybees. She doesn't seem to be bothered by me. Herbs like to be picked. This basil has been picked on probably about once a week since it got about 4 stems on it. So that's how you make basil grow, is you pick on it. It loves it. So we're going to pick on this as much as we can. And because according to Farmer's Almanac, I am not supposed to get frost until the end of October. And they're calling for a later frost for us this year. So we'll see. Farmer's Almanac's normally right, but we're going to go picking on this so we can make some pesto. So what I'm doing is I'm going through, and if you look carefully, right here is where I had actually picked or cut a piece of the basil off, so the top 2 would go off into 2 more branches. So what we're going to do is on the stems, I still want this to continue to grow, and so I can get fresh basil. So we're actually not going to take all of it. on each stem. We're going to leave one. But this is, the basil starting to bolt everywhere. And like I said, I'm coming out like every day and picking off the bloom. And then what I'll do while I'm out here with my scissors is just trim some of that bloom off a little bit so I don't have to worry about it in the kitchen. I think that'll do me for a while. Now that we're back in the kitchen, we're going to go on and make our pesto. Pesto is one of the easiest sauces, I think, to make. So I went ahead and I stripped all the leaves off of our stems of our basil, and it all got a really good wash and spin. So it's all ready to go. 2 cups of our basil. You want to kind of pack it down in there just a little bit. We don't need it to be real tight, but we want to make sure it's nice and full. So now we're going to add all of our other ingredients except for our Parmesan cheese. So we're going to put in 1 medium or 2 smaller cloves of garlic. I'm going to put in around a tablespoon of lemon juice. Just squirting a bunch in there. We need a 1/2 cup of pine nuts. You can toast your pine nuts if you prefer. I guess I'm just kind of lazy and I don't toast my pine nuts. I think it tastes fine without it. And we need about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt, or a good decent little pinch. Some fresh black pepper. And we need 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. We only got to process it for a few seconds. And then I'm going to push down the sides a little bit. That way, just make sure there's no big leaves in there. Great, and then we need around 1/4 cup of our Parmesan cheese. So we'll get this in a bowl. So now our pesto is complete. I actually made a couple of batches because I am going to freeze this. I do like my pesto chunkier. If you prefer your pesto to be a little finer, like this, I would suggest using a different kind of mixer. This was actually done in a NutriBullet. So this is what it looks like in our food processor. But to preserve it, you are welcome to put it in ice cube trays if you like. I actually like to use little snack bags. So what we're going to do is we are going to measure this out just so I know how much I'm putting in each bag. I am going to put a half a cup. Try to do this as neatly as you can. Okay. Remember, air is our enemy. Try to get your air out of there. And then I just squash it flat. And what this does for me is I know when I go to use this in a recipe, if I only want to use half of it, when it's frozen, I can literally just break this in half in the bag and only use half of it and seal it back up and use the other half later. So everyone, enjoy your pesto, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.